Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers. She said it quietly, almost like a whisper, but it landed harder than a slap. Don't talk to me. You're embarrassing. We were at a dinner with her coworkers. Nothing fancy. Just a long table, too much noise, and people pretending they liked each other. I had leaned in to add something harmless to the conversation. Just a small joke, something light. But before the words even finished leaving my mouth, she cut me off. Not with anger. Not even with frustration. With disgust. The table went quiet for half a second. Not long enough for anyone to intervene, but long enough for everyone to notice. A few people awkwardly looked at their plates. Someone cleared their throat. And my wife, she didn't even look at me. Just smiled at her boss like nothing happened. That's when I felt it. That cold, hollow drop in your chest when you realize something isn't just wrong, it's been wrong for a long time. I sat back in my chair and said nothing. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I didn't make a scene. I just nodded, picked up my glass, and stayed silent for the rest of the night. On the outside, I probably looked calm. On the inside, something finally snapped into place. Because this wasn't new. This was just the first time she'd done it in public. At home, it had been happening for years. The sighs when I talked too much. The eye rolls when I shared an opinion. The way she'd interrupt me mid-sentence, correct me, or joke about me being socially awkward, or not getting it. I used to laugh it off. Tell myself she was just blunt. Just stressed. Just joking. But that night, sitting there while she laughed with people who barely knew her, I realized something painful. She didn't respect me. And worse, she hadn't for a long time. The drive home was silent. Not the heavy kind of silence that begs for a conversation. The kind that feels settled. Decided. When we pulled into the driveway, she unbuckled her seatbelt and said, "You really need to learn when to stop talking." That was it. No apology. No awareness. No care. I looked at her, and for the first time in our marriage, I didn't feel angry. I felt clear. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't argue. I just said, "Okay." She scoffed. "Don't be dramatic." She went inside. I stayed in the car for a few minutes, hands on the steering wheel, staring at the dark windshield. That's when I made the decision. Not emotionally. Logically. I stopped trying after that night. Not in a loud way. In a quiet way she didn't notice at first. I stopped initiating conversations. Stopped explaining myself. Stopped trying to earn basic respect from someone who had already decided I was beneath her. She thought things were fine. Actually, she thought things were better. Less arguments. Less tension. Less annoying talking from me. What she didn't realize was that I wasn't improving. I was detaching. Over the next few weeks, I paid attention. Really paid attention. How she spoke to me when she wanted something. How she spoke about me to others. How she never defended me but expected my loyalty without question. I noticed how often I felt small around my own wife. And then something else happened. People started telling me the truth. A friend mentioned how uncomfortable it was when she joked about me at gatherings. Her sister once pulled me aside and said, "You're more patient than most men would be." Even her own coworker, one of the people at that dinner, casually said, "I don't know how you let her talk to you like that." That sentence stayed with me. Let her. As if I had a choice. As if staying silent was permission. That's when I realized the most embarrassing thing at that dinner wasn't me talking. It was me staying. So I started preparing. Quietly. I met with a lawyer during my lunch breaks. I gathered documents. I took inventory of my finances, my time, my life. Every step I took made me feel lighter. Stronger. More like myself than I'd felt in years. She didn't notice. Or maybe she didn't care. One night, about 2 months after the dinner, we were sitting in the living room. She was on her phone, barely listening when she finally said it. "I don't know. I'm just not sure about us anymore." She said it casually. Like she was talking about canceling a subscription. I looked at her. And I smiled. Not out of spite. Out of relief. "Actually," I said calmly, "I've already signed the divorce papers." She froze. Her phone slipped slightly in her hand. "What?" "I filed last week," I continued. "You'll get the documents soon." Her face shifted from confusion to anger to disbelief. "You're serious?" she asked. I nodded. "Completely." She laughed, but it wasn't real. "You're overreacting. This is because of that stupid dinner, isn't it?" I shook my head. "No. That dinner just showed me who you've been all along." She tried to argue then. Tried to rewrite history. Tried to tell me I was too sensitive, too quiet, too insecure. For the first time, none of it worked. Because I wasn't defending myself anymore. I stood up, grabbed my keys, and said the words she never expected to hear. I won't be embarrassed anymore. Not by you. Not for you. And I walked out. That wasn't the end. It was just the beginning.